Magnetic pedals have been inching their way into the mountain bike market for a while now. They kind of bridge that gap between a flat pedal and a clipless pedal. And for the last 2 years, I've been using them on my Enduro bikes. I've tried the Magped Enduros and the Hustle Labs Avery Remtech pedals. So we're gonna kind of talk about the pros and cons of each of these, really who are these for, and which one do I like the best. So let's get to it. So if you're absolutely new to mountain biking or you've never heard of magnetic pedals, what are these things? Well, it's pretty simple. They take a flat pedal, they stick a magnet in the middle, and hold on. You get a clipless shoe and you get a plate on it, and they pretty much just stick to it like that. Now I gotta get them off. Okay. So who are these pedals for? Well, if you're like me, you want to feel that security, your foot on the pedal. You don't want it to move that much. You know, you want that clipped in feeling, but you don't really want to commit to clipless pedals. Well, then these are worth the try. Now, when I first started riding, I was on flat pedals, liked it, but with me riding enduro trails and downhill, technical, chunk, and I started to notice my foot coming off the pedals a lot. I did try clipless pedals. I tried them for about 6 weeks and just could not get it. I mean, now I know some of you might say, well, 6 weeks is not long enough. You need to spend more time with them. But I'm inching towards 50 years old. My knees and elbows and body just cannot take the wrecks that I was having trying to get my foot out of those things. So I wanted to look at magnetic pedals, and so far I've liked them. Now I still use flat pedals. I use flat pedals on my ARI Wire Peak, my e-bike, and so I do still use both the magnetic pedals and the flats, but I've found that the magnetic pedals really serve a purpose, and I like that security, especially when I'm doing downhill chunk or I'm on my enduro bike, and just I want that feeling of just that being in the bike. My foot's really secured on that pedal, and I don't have they're not moving that much. So the first pedals I tried were the Magpeds, the Magpeds and Enduros. Now these are the first versions. They actually have a newer version out of these, which I have not tried. So these are just the version 1. So just going forward, just know that I'm comparing the version 1 pedals. I know that the version 2 of the Enduro pedal has a little bit lighter weight. I think they're like 23% lighter is what they claim. And they have better pins around the pedal. So, but real quick, the Magped, it's still the same, pretty much the same design. They have a magnet on each side. They have pins that go around, just like a flat pedal. They have pins that go around, and you can configure them however you want. It has all the same features as a regular flat pedal, but just with the magnets. And I'll throw up the specifications here in just a moment, but I just kind of want to give you an intro to either one. So these are ones I started with. I instantly knew that Magpeds were something that I really liked and I wanted to stick with. But the problem with these, and this was just me personally, as I started having some clicking noises. You can actually adjust the magnets to go up and down. They have an adjustability screw here that allows you to do that. You can also do the same thing with the plate on your shoe. You can have shims that you can get the plate closer to the tread mark, or actually have it sink further in. So I started playing with that. I started playing with the pins to see if I could get the magnet to connect with the shoe a little bit more secure, but nothing really seemed to help. And so that's when I decided to try out the Hustle Labs Avery Remtech pedals. Now it's pretty much the same concept. It's got magnets on it. It's got the pins. It's got pretty much the same thing. And you can see the difference just in physicality. Like the Avery is definitely larger lengthwise than the Magped. Now widthwise it's about the same. It's not that much different. But what you'll notice with the Avery Remtech is that it has, first of all, it has two magnets that are pretty close together, whereas the Magped only has one. But they have two magnets that are pretty close together, and what's cool is that it swivels. So that swivel feature right there allows the foot to kind of move a little bit with as you move your foot with the pedal, and it allows that connection to stay a little bit more secure. And I don't have any clipping noise. I don't feel like it's coming apart. I will say though, it has a little bit of a drift to it that allows the foot to kind of move kind of sideways, not so much back and forth, but kind of left or right. And that gives it more of a natural feel. I can't really explain it technically, but I've felt that my foot not only stays on the pedal, it actually has a little bit of a float that kind of just feels like I'm not clipped in, or I'm not, you know, magnetically clipped in at least. So let's talk about the pros and cons of these two pedals. The pro side of the Magpeds is that you got different variations of these. You got different magnet strengths of the Magpeds. They come in, like I said, they come in different versions. You have a sport version, which is a little bit lighter. You have a gravel version. If you ride gravel bikes, you know, there's a trade-off. It's a lighter magnet, it's a smaller platform, and then of course they make road versions if you are into road bikes. So that's the kind of the pros of these. They're about $10 cheaper than the Avery Remtechs, so not that much difference in price, but those are some of the pros about the Magpeds. The pros about the Hustle Labs, it's got a little bit, you know, taller platform, so you got more foot space on the pedal. You got this technology of this magnet swivel, which I really love. It allows that foot to kind of glide a little bit, but still feel locked in. The magnets are stronger. You know, you know, it comes in a couple different color variations, so you can choose different colors. So that's pretty cool. But there are some downsides. There are downsides to both of these. And so while I have the Hustle Labs, I'll go ahead and talk about the downsides. The downsides, it's a weight penalty. It's not twice the weight of the Magpeds, but it's not far from it. At a little bit over 700 grams, you know, for the pair. So, you know, yeah, you're gonna take that weight penalty. But for me, I mean, if you're using these, you're not using them to on a light bike. You're using these because you want to feel secure on the pedal. You want that benefit of being able to pull up with your leg on pedaling. So if you're an enduro rider, these are great because you get the best of both worlds of the clipless, or you get that benefit of the clipless pedal by being able to pull up as you pedal. So if you're pedaling up, you know, with some, you know, on some rides, on some trails, then that's where it really comes in handy, and you don't come off the pedal. So so, you know, the weight penalty is versus the Magpeds is one thing. The other thing is that they're pretty hard to get. They don't stay in stock that much. So, you know, it's a smaller, I'm assuming it's a smaller company, so therefore they can't make as much or keep as much stock. But that also kind of says a little bit about the popularity. They're always running out of these things, so they're really good pedals. The downside to the Magpeds I found was you only have one magnet versus the two magnets on the Avery Remtech. So I didn't feel as secure to the pedal, and again, I started having that clicking noise on the pedals, and like I said, I tried different ways to vary it up, but I could not find a solution for that, and I found that other people were having similar issues. That's something to consider. I don't know what the fix with that is, but maybe the version 2 fixed that. We'll see. But really that was the only downside in my opinion, was just that it just wasn't as strong as the Remtechs. So but both pedals did what they said they were going to do. I really enjoyed trying these out. All right, so for those of you who really want the details, want the specifics on these pedals, let's dive into those. The Magped Enduro pedals. Now these are for the version 2. The weight on these are 447 grams for the 150 strength magnets, and 477 grams for the 200 strength magnets. There's two different strengths to choose from. So the dimensions of these are length 108 millimeters, width 100 millimeters, and height 16 millimeters. For the Avery Remtech pedals, you have 750 grams for the weight. The footprint on these are 95 millimeters in width, 120 millimeters in length, and they don't give a height on these pedals. I believe they're about the same, maybe a little bit higher. So for me, you know, it's the Hustle Lab Avery Remtechs for the win. You know, for the strength of the pedal, that kind of the technology of that float, it allows the foot to kind of move just a little bit, so you don't feel like you're in a clipless pedal. And it just feels more natural. All right, guys, there you have it, magnetic pedals. Hope you learned about these two, the Magped Enduros and the Hustle Lab Avery Remtechs. I'm sure I skipped over something, so if you have any questions, just drop those questions in the comments below. I'll get to those as soon as I can. But I hope you learned a lot about these types of pedals, the bridge between flat pedals and clipless. If you like this type of content, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't joined the journey already, give a subscribe. Would love to have you part of this channel and this journey I'm on. As always, live, learn, and send it. It is never too late to start. See you guys next time.